It's the most wonderful time of the year. NBA is back and the Miami Heat are blowing fourth quarter leads. But Jovic hit a step back three on Paulo Banchero right in his face. Yeah. Let's watch that again. I honestly didn't even watch the second half. I watched the first half of that game and I said, you know what? I have had my daily fill of NBA preseason basketball. I'm good. It was very fun to hear the great John Crotty and Eric Reed again. Great to see those guys. Kind of funny how they weren't at the game. They were broadcasting from Fort Lauderdale while the game was in Puerto Rico, and I'm just like, they couldn't get poor John Crotty and Eric Reed a quick little flight over to Puerto Rico to be present at the game? Damn, I mean, come on, these guys have been the Heat announcers for like 30-something years here. Weird game, extremely dark, terrible lighting. I couldn't really see that well. There was a horrible delay. It was the most preseason-ish kind of game ever. And look at this, we finally got to see Norman Powell in a Miami Heat uniform. And I really enjoyed watching Norman and Jovic and Wiggins play together because the Miami Heat played with pace. They ran the floor. There was some really, really fun fast breaks in that first half. And man, it was a joy to watch. And this is what I was talking about in previous videos regarding Jovic. I love when he plays this style, when he's getting out and running the floor and making stuff happen and connecting people and hitting guys on the fast break. And the Heat look like they might be leaning into more of a sort of European style of basketball with a very fast pace. And even in the half court, the ball seems to be really moving around a lot faster. It's kind of zipping around a lot more. They hopefully are shying away from that slow, clunky, disjointed offense that we saw last season. And I saw that in training camp, Spo was using a 16-second shot clock. Now, the question as far as playing with pace, it's how sustainable will that be? Come December, January, are they still going to be able to be playing with pace every single game for all four quarters? We'll see if that really happens. But even in the half court, you can still play with a certain kind of pace in the half court with the ball movement. And I think to myself, man, once Tyler's back and you have Tyler and Norm and Wiggins and Jovic and Bam, and then, of course you got Davion Mitchell, Drew Smith back. Drew Smith played great last night. What do you have, 7-8 points in just a few minutes? I think I saw he had a couple blocks and a steal. Man, I am so happy for Drew Smith to go through those two injuries. What do you have, the ACL and the Achilles, and he still comes back, and it looks like that. I mean, he hasn't lost a beat. Bam, Bam was fine, I guess. He was 0 for 5 from the field, but besides that, he got to the free throw line a lot. That was cool. He was 7 for 8 from the free throw line. And I don't know. I'm not worried about Bam. I don't know. At this point in Bam's career, I don't know how much better he's going to get. We saw the increase in threes last year. I don't think Bam is ever going to be like an offensive juggernaut. But as far as defense goes, he's one of the most versatile defenders in the league. But Bam is such a versatile player that this new style, if this does become a new style for the Heat, this kind of more fast pace and ball movement European style of play, or like the Indiana Pacers style of play, I think Bam is versatile enough to where he can figure out how to work in that kind of offense too. And then Kel'el Ware, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kel'el's rotations. A lot of people are saying that he might not start now, that Jovic is going to start, and that he's going to be more of just like a backup for Bam. Maybe you'll see some Bam Ware minutes, but I think in last night's game, once again, take it with a very small grain of salt, you didn't see Bam and Ware play together at all. And Ware, look, we all see the potential. We all see the lobs and the blocks, and he gets a lot of rebounds, but it's kind of like the things that don't make the highlights. Sometimes I'll really only focus on him on offense and defense, and he just seems to be very lost sometimes, or doesn't know where to go or doesn't know what to do or seems kind of unsure of himself, but I'll watch him on defense sometimes and he just looks like he's kind of floundering around. So, and I'm sure that drives Spo crazy. But I think once everyone is back with this team, I think there's just a lot of room for versatility as far as the lineups and the rotations go. Call me crazy, but I think this team is pretty deep. I think they have a unique sort of depth with this team. I still think that this season is going to be way more fun and enjoyable than last season. I mean, anything's going to be better than last season. So that's it. Take everything with a very small grain of salt. Random 2 quarters I watched preseason game in Puerto Rico where it's so insignificant that even the Heat were like, you know what, we're not even going to fly out John Crotty and Eric Reed. We're going to have them stay in Fort Lauderdale. But the proverbial grains of salt were good grains of salt. Once again, Jovic was looking good. Wiggins was looking good. And like I said in previous videos, these are 2 guys that I think are really going to be kind of like the X factor to the success of the Heat. And they were both looking pretty good last night. I loved the pace, how connected they were, the ball movement. I loved watching them run and push the ball. I loved seeing Drew Smith back. That's awesome. And there's a bunch of key guys that weren't even playing, like, of course, Tyler, Davion, and Pell. And then, of course, we were missing the great Terry Rozier and the rookie kid.